Haley's Friendship Challenge by Louie Lowen. Haley's birthday was July 10th, but it was still February. Seated at the kitchen table, Haley watched her mom slice a crisp green apple. She gave Haley half of the apple for breakfast, and then she wrapped the other half for Haley's lunchbox. "I know you're excited about the Valentine's Day party," her mom said, "but please eat all of your lunch." "I promise I'll eat every bite," Haley said, as she kicked her feet against her chair. "I love Valentine's Day," she thought. "Soon I'll be 8 years old. 3rd grade might seem scary now, but I'll be older by then." 5 months was a long time to wait for her birthday, but Haley had already started counting the days. "Mama," Haley exclaimed, "Valentine's Day parties are so much fun. But your birthday parties are even better. I love the colored balloons that you tie to all of the chairs. We always eat my favorite foods, pizza, soda, and chocolate cake. Plus, you invite all of my close friends, and nothing could be better. You're the best mom in the world." Haley picked up the sliced apple, took a big bite, and then chewed. She let her mind wander to last year's birthday party. They played Guess What Animal I Am, so they took turns galloping like a horse or diving into the air like dolphins. When Haley felt things couldn't get any better, a purple-haired clown pulled a dress right out of her best friend Lexi's ear. How in the world did she do that? Haley pondered. A few months later, Haley received some bad news. Her mom's job had a big layoff and she couldn't find work anywhere. After Haley's school year was over, they moved to a new town. Finally, her mother found a job stocking shelves at a grocery store. The new job didn't pay very much, so Haley knew there would be no birthday party this year. By the middle of summer, Haley's mom had rented a house at the edge of town. Although the house was small, Haley loved the busy pond down the street. Her new school was only a few miles away, but Haley was in no hurry for school to start. Kneeling before a cardboard box, Haley helped her mother unpack their belongings. She pulled a delicate statue out of a box. The ballerina was wrapped in old newspapers. As the papers fell away, Haley frowned, stood up, and then placed the figurine on an empty bookshelf. "I can't stand this town," Haley complained. Her mother was unpacking dishes in the kitchen, but Haley marched right up to her. "Mom, I hate this town." She folded her arms. "I don't have any friends, and I'll bet this town doesn't have a single clown." Haley's mom sighed as she placed a plate on the kitchen table. "Oh, Haley," she turned to face her daughter. "Sweetheart, give it some time." Smiling softly, she stroked Haley's brown hair, and then she rubbed her small shoulders. "We just moved here. Finding a friend might feel like a challenge, but I'm sure you'll make new friends. Be patient, little one. You'll see." While Haley's mom was at work, a neighbor, Mrs. Martin, took care of her. Mrs. Martin had a dog named Plucky, but most times Haley played alone. She would watch her favorite television shows, and sometimes she would feed popcorn to the ducks that were swimming in the neighborhood pond. Pretending to be a superheroine, Haley would often fly high in the sky while looking for animals in distress. But mostly, she loved walking in the woods. Finding a turtle or a fat worm was always a pleasant discovery. The front porch was always inviting. While sitting on the top step, Haley would watch the neighborhood puppies as they played behind a wooden fence. While they chased their tails, Haley would laugh out loud. They would jump in the air like happy rabbits, and Haley would jump too. When they nuzzled next to each other for an afternoon nap, Haley would yawn too. Plucky was Mrs. Martin's wiener dog. She had a tan and brown coat, with white fur on all 4 paws. Around her neck, Plucky wore a pink collar with sparkling rhinestones because Mrs. Martin was confined to a wheelchair. Plucky would cross the street and work off energy by playing with the puppies in the neighborhood. Trudy, Noodles, and Gray were Labrador pups who were owned by Mr. and Mrs. Duncan. Plucky would push her way under the fence, and the pups would follow her around the yard. She taught them how to stand perfectly still and sniff the air with class. Every Saturday, Haley went to the shopping center with her mom. They admired the clothing displayed in the shopkeeper's window. Although they couldn't afford to buy anything, it was fun to look, wish, and dream. Each time Haley looked into the window of Florence's clothing store, her eyes twinkled. "Mama, look at that beautiful jacket," Haley gushed. "So many bright colors. Those shooting stars are leaving a trail of rainbow sparkles. It reminds me of fireworks on the 4th of July. I'm sure it would feel warm and comfy." Haley's mom smiled. "That's a down-filled coat," she said. "It looks as if it would fit you perfectly. The bright trail of yellow is so festive, while the soft blue color matches your sneakers. The pink color will bring out your rosy cheeks. Haley, this jacket looks as if it were meant for you." Her mom stopped smiling and then took a deep breath. "Haley, would you like this jacket for your birthday?" That jacket was much too expensive for her mom to buy. Haley tugged her mom's arm and led her from the display window. "No, Mom," Haley said quietly. "I'd rather have a pair of rainbow sneakers. They have a nice pair at the thrift shop on the corner." Days passed. Haley could not forget about the wonderful jacket. Before she'd fall asleep, she'd imagine how soft the jam would feel against her skin. She would take pictures in the fabulous coat and be envied by everyone at her new school. At last, Haley's birthday arrived. Her mother came home from work earlier than usual, and Haley was thrilled. She sat on the sofa, dressed in her favorite birthday shirt. Soon, her mother walked into the living room, holding a beautifully wrapped box. "Here's your present, honey," Haley's mother announced, as she gave Haley the large box. "Wow, what could this be?" Haley asked as she shook the box. "It's much too large to be sneakers or even a book. Mom, are you playing a trick on me? I bet you put something really small inside a big box." But no, it was not a trick, and Haley couldn't believe it. Her eyes popped like giant frisbees when she opened the box and saw the star-spangled rainbow jacket. "Oh, Mama, you didn't have to buy this jacket for me. It's much too expensive and you can't afford it." "Don't worry about that," her mama replied. "Mrs. Florence let me pay a little each week. Plus, I worked a few extra hours and I received a raise. Although you didn't complain, I know you've had a tough time in this new town. You're such a good girl, Haley. I wanted my little muffin to have something special this year." Tears stung Haley's eyes. She had never felt so loved. Right then, Haley pledged to take good care of her treasured jacket. The first day of school came much too soon for Haley. The new kid always got teased, and Haley had received her share of ribbing. "Hey, Haley Paley," Rex would tease, "you run like you have your shoes on the wrong foot. Plus, you make faces like a turtle when you're thinking about stuff." This kind of teasing bothered Haley. Finding a new friend would be a challenge indeed. After watching the other kids at play, she didn't want to make any new friends. These kids were mean, and they were having fun at her expense. Sometimes Haley would yell, "Knock it off!" after she stood up for herself. The teasing seldom happened. How she'd missed the acceptance of her old friends. The weather was still warm, but Haley could hardly wait for the colder weather. Meanwhile, her special jacket hung in the closet, just waiting for a chance to be worn. Leaves were beginning to turn colors, so Haley knew that fall was near. Each morning, she'd open her curtains and look out of her bedroom window. "Mother," she'd call, "the leaves are turning colors. May I wear my coat today?" "Not today," her mother would reply from the kitchen. "It's much too warm outside. Wear your hoodie instead."